Hi YouTube, it's Princess Diamond. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video you guys will be watching me do these boho knotless braids as I talk to you guys about the difference in and pros and cons of knotless boho braids and traditional boho braids. And before I get into that, the hair that I'm using is from Ywigs. This is their spiral curl human hair. I did use 2 bundles of this along with synthetic braiding hair. Okay, so knotless braids versus traditional braids. I've been getting a couple clients lately that have been requesting for traditional braids instead of knotless braids, even with doing boho braids. And it's kind of surprising to me just because of the benefits of getting knotless braids. And so that's what inspired this video, for me to just be able to share with you guys some of the benefits of getting knotless braids. So in my opinion, the biggest pro with getting knotless braids is that it is less tension. And it's less tension because of the method of adding in the hair. So with knotless braids, the hair is being fed in right there at the root as if you are doing feed-in braids. Versus with traditional braids, the hair is being added in all together at the root and there is a big knot. So with knotless braids, it is going to be less tension just because of the way the hair is being added in. And with that, it helps or is good for those with sensitive scalp, and it actually helps those who are more prone to traction alopecia. It reduces the risk of losing hair because there's not so much tension right there at the root. Traditional braids, you're going to have that knot right there at the root. That's going to be causing a lot more tension, and we know tension causes breakage. So that's the very first pro I would say, or the biggest pro I would say, with getting knotless box braids. The second pro is that it's natural, so it looks like your natural hair. Again, because of the way it's fed in, it looks like feed-in braids, like you were just to plait your natural hair. So you can't really see the knot. You can't see where the fake hair is being added in to your hair. Versus with traditional braids, there is a knot, so you can always see the fake hair, whether it's the same hair color as yours or not. Another pro with getting knotless braids is that it's lighter. So typically, as you guys know, when we used to do traditional box braids, we used to add way too much hair on one braid. And again, more tension. Our braids were a lot more heavier. When we transitioned and started doing knotless braids, we didn't really have to add in as much of the braiding hair to each part or each box. So knotless braids tend to be lighter. Now this can typically depend on the stylist, right, or the braider, but usually knotless braids is lighter than traditional braids. I remember I have a client that started coming to me and she was used to getting traditional braids, so that's what she would get. I asked her one time if she'd ever tried knotless braids and if she would be willing to try it. The next time she came, she booked an appointment and actually got knotless braids. After she got it, the first thing she said is, "It's so light, like it feels like there's nothing there." And I kid you guys not, this client has not, since I first did her knotless braids for the very first time, she has not went back to getting traditional braids. She's loved the knotless braids. So like I said, it's lighter, and that just goes into less tension, because when you're adding tension or when a style is heavy, again, it's causing breakage, and once we're causing breakage, then it's no longer a protective style. And then another pro for getting knotless braids, I would say, is the flexibility of it. So with knotless braids, as soon as your style is installed, you're able to pull it up. Even with this style that I'm doing right here in the end, you'll see me pull the braids all the way up. So they're very movable, they're very flexible without causing a lot of tension. You remember when we used to do the traditional box braids, how many days did we have to wait before we could actually put it in a bun? Y'all remember, we couldn't do anything that very first like 3 days, I would say. We'd have to wait for our roots to kind of grow out a little bit before we can start styling it. So yeah, another pro is just the fact that it's flexible. You can You can put it up, you can style it immediately after it's installed. So then you're probably asking, okay, well, if knotless braids has all these pros, then why would people be requesting traditional braids versus knotless braids? I think the only con that I've heard with people getting knotless braids is how it looks at the root when it grows out, which is understandable. Some people just don't like that look. They want their braids to look neater, longer. And with knotless braids, because the hair is being fed in and it has more of the natural look, when it grows out and looks just like your natural hair would grow out and look. Versus with the traditional braids, the knot at the root does help the braid to look a little neater for longer time as it grows out from the roots. And one more con that I would say with knotless versus traditional is just the time. Knotless braids do take more time to install, so that can be a con for braiders, that can be a con for the client. So if you don't like to sit for long periods of time, knotless braids tend to take longer than just doing traditional braids. Again, it's all because of the method of having to feed in the hair. Those are the only two cons that I can think of when it comes to knotless braids. But I would love to hear from you guys if you can think of any other cons, or if you prefer traditional box braids. What are the pros for you with getting traditional box braids? Share them down in the comments and let me know what are some more cons that you can think of with knotless box braids. But as for me, those are the only ones that I can think of. I think overall, knotless braids just look better. They look lighter. They don't cause a lot of tension and breakage. And I think that's an overall, good thing when it comes to getting a protective style installed. As far as just the general look, I know some people just like the look of traditional box braids. I'm not one of those people, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So you guys are going to see the final result of these, and like I said, you'll be able to see me put it up. Again, let me know some of your thoughts on doing knotless versus traditional box braids. All the hair details will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for Ywigs for sponsoring today's video. If you guys have any questions, please leave it down in the comments. I do have a lot of tutorials on how to do knotless braids, how to do boho braids, so I'll link those videos down below if you guys are interested. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Be blessed. Stay protected, stay filled with love and peace.